Walaikum assalam. You are sharing your screen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, your screen is visible.
So, before starting the dynasty of pharaohs, I would like to do just an overview. So, it's like before every date it says C means circa, so it means approximate. It's not like definite date. So in 1800 1700 BCE, that's the dynasty of pharaohs. It's like called Middle Kingdom. It was 12th to 13th dynasty, and that's possibly the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, an early descendant of Canaan. When they came to, you can say that about the early descendant of Canaan, which was Palestine, present-day Palestine. So then it's circa 1700 1650 BCE. That's late 13th dynasty. At that time, that was a very weakening time for Egypt, because Egypt was like in a really bad state. And you can say its central power was really weak. That's time before Yusuf al-Islam came to Egypt. And then circa 1650 to 1550 BCE, that's 15th dynasty. That's the time of Hyksos. Hyksos rulers when they came to Egypt, and that's the time of Prophet Yusuf al-Islam. Like mostly they say that's the time of Prophet Yusuf al-Islam. And 1550 BCE, that's the time of Ahmos I, expelled the Hyksos, and another time started. And this is time like Yusuf al-Islam's time was finished almost, like those people who didn't know much about Yusuf al-Islam. So 1500 to 1300 BCE, that's 18th dynasty. That's called New Kingdom. That was the period when Egypt was rising, like Egyptians' identity was getting stronger, and they were expelling all those people who were foreigners, and they were taking hold of their own country. So that's the possible time of Israelites' oppression when it began. So we will see that if it was really oppression like which was forced upon them, or how much, like all the conditions, whatever was going on. So then circa 1300 to 1200 BCE, that's the time of Ramesses II. Ramesses II, when I talk about him, I would call him Pharaoh. So to make it easy, because all of these, that Pharaoh is a title. Pharaoh is a title of royalty in Egypt. So when I'm saying Pharaoh, so it would be like how Quran called him. So Ramesses II is the Pharaoh of Musa alayhi salam and Pharaoh of Exodus. Then it's really important if we want to understand what happened to Bani Israel, how they leave their deen and change it to religion, how it happened. It's very important to understand that what kind of religious beliefs were there at that time, which kept on changing throughout the different dynasties. So in early dynastic period, 3100 to 2686 BCE, there was a god named Horus. It was like, this is really strange because he was the hybrid of human and falcon. There was the face of falcon and body of human. So they used to worship him. He was god of kingship and sky. And Pharaoh see him as like Pharaoh used to say, we are the embodiment of Horus. And then Old Kingdom, 3rd to 6th, that's circa 2686 to 2181 BCE. That was the time of Ra. He was the sun god, and Pharaoh, all the pharaohs, they used to call themselves son of Ra. And there was Heliopolis, cult dominant. Heliopolis was the main city of Egypt. It's called, the meaning of Heliopolis is the city of the sun, and it was located in the northeastern Nile Delta. which is like modern day Cairo. So Heliopolis cult was, its main location was obviously Heliopolis city, ancient city of Egypt, but they used to call it Iunu. It's like IUNU, Inu. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but this is somehow that was the name. And modern day Cairo, the city is Ain Shams. So importance of that, the oldest religious center was Heliopolis. So they used to worship God and cosmology and different stars, and especially, but the sun was dominant. Then Heliopolis is like, it's really, we will talk about in detail about Heliopolis because it's really important. But then first intermediate period, 2181 to 2055 BC, that was the time when Pharaoh's rule was really weakened at that time. And then local deities like Thoth and Montu, they were like really becoming popular among people. Then this is Middle Kingdom, that's the 11th to 13th dynasty, that's the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's circa 2055 to 1650 BCE, and Amun was the god which was becoming more popular. So you would see every time and with every pharaoh, their god was changing. So it was Theban god because Thebes was the city of Upper Egypt. So those gods were dominant at that time. But then it became there was a fusion of Ra, sun god, and Amun. These two, and they become Amun Ra after later in New Kingdom. That was 18th to 20th dynasty. But then second intermediate period started, that was circa 1650 to 1550 BCE. That was the time when Hyksos were rulers. So they brought their own god with them. That was the god of storm. His name was Baal. And mostly in modern, if you talk about Baal, they call him Shaitan mostly. So it's really important to understand them before looking at the Heliopolitan Aeneid. That was those were 9 deities. The Atum was the creator, and he was the creator god, and the meaning of his name is the complete one, the one who is complete in himself. So he created he created by thinking in his heart and then saying the words from his mouth, and he created this world. And that's what they believe in. So he created Shu and Tefnuth. Those were the two gods. Shu was the god of air. His role was that his was the personification of air and light. He was created to they were created to separate the sky, Nuth, and earth. Earth was Geb. So he used to be he used to support the sky, allowing the life and light to exist between Nuth and Geb. So Tefnuth, that's the goddess of moisture, like dew, rain, humidity, and its appearance is like lion-headed woman or woman with the cobra on her head. So that was the myth that twin sister of Shu, they together represent air and water. So they were the fundamental life forces. So it's another god then, Geb, god of earth. So it's mostly, if you see in hieroglyphs, that's the man laying on the ground beneath Nuth, sometimes green skin to symbolize vegetation. And this is his function was to they say when he laughs, it's the earthquake. Like there's really strange kind of mythology about them. So he was the son of Shu and Tefnuth, and brother and husband of Nuth. And it's like really strange because they were gods, and you will see incest in between them because brother is marrying sister, and this is really strange and disturbing. And then Nuth, that's the goddess of sky. Its appearance is mostly in hieroglyphs. That woman, she's She's the like sky daughter of. She's the daughter of sky and night. And then it's what she does, that she swallows the sun god Ra every evening and births him every morning, explaining the cycle of day and night. So then this Osiris, he's the god of afterlife. And we will do it in detail about these, because you will understand really strange things about other religion as well, because they created myths and then other religion, they adopted it really strangely. So then Osiris is the mummified man with the white crown holding a crook and flail, and his name possibly is like mighty one. And he was murdered by his brother Seth, and he was resurrected by his wife Isis, and he became lord of the dead. So he's mostly worshipped in the Abydos, one of the Egypt's most widely worshipped gods. He's the Osiris, and then his wife Isis. She's the goddess of magic and motherhood. So she is the one who has healing powers, motherhood, and she's protection, symbol of protection. So her she's mostly like considered like ideal wife and mother and powerful sorceress. So she's extremely popular throughout Egypt and the Greco-Roman world. Then is Seth. Seth is a god of chaos and storm. He is very negative, but still it's really strange that he's really famous and he's been worshipped by so many other people. And he had major cult centers in Ombos, and especially he's really respected in Upper Egypt and by some pharaohs as well. So he's the jealous brother, and he's the one who killed Osiris, the other god, the god of underworld. And then Nephthys, goddess of mourning and protection. She is the sister of Isis, and she's the one who would find the Osiris when he's dead or something. We will talk about it in more detail. But the temple of this temple was like really popular, the temple of Heliopolis, and it was the largest temple in Egypt. It was a key center for priestly scholarship, and it was influenced later by Greek and Roman theology as well, because their mythology is really strange as well, and they took it from here. So the priest, Heliopolis priests, they were not called priests, they were known as cosmic philosophers. So how now there are so many gods, and how they used to pray, did they even have the concept of prayer or not? But if you see ancient Egypt, they had a concept of prayer, but it existed alongside a robust belief in magic, which they used to call Hika. They believed in Hika, and both were very essential components of personal and popular religion. So individuals, like normal people, they could interact with the gods for their own purposes, appealing for help and through prayers, or even compelling the gods to act through magic. This is really strange that if they see the spells, or they would do certain things, they can compel God to listen to them. So these practices were distinct from, but closely linked with the formal rituals what they used to perform. So popular religious tradition grew more prominent over the course of Egyptian history as the status of pharaoh declined. So Egyptian belief in the afterlife and the importance of funerary practice is evident in the when you see that how they used to ensure that survival of their souls after death is done properly. So they used to put things in the graves, that they used to offer offerings, and in the tombs they used to put to preserve the bodies and spirits. They used to do a lot of things. So about compelling gods to act through magic, this is really strange, because they say that through invocation or chanting, like saying few words, those words are so powerful that gods will have to do what they're asking for, and some other forces in the world, or natural forces, will act exactly the way they want it, and they will get whatever they want. So it was like in prayers were like mostly personal appeals if individuals are doing. So Egyptians, they used to feel really empowered that they are asking from God, like they can do it on their own. They don't need some priest or somebody. Even if they're doing in their home, they will ask for healing or protection, or even when they need some kind of justice or for their success, they will ask for that. And they had some kind of inscriptions or some kind of chantings, some very powerful words. And if you've seen, even in their tombs, like it would be written, "Hear me, O Oman," or "Deliver me from my enemies." So they used to do offering like food or flowers or drinks or incense at home, or in the temples they would just put some these kind of offerings. So magic was really considered a really powerful thing in ancient Egypt. They used to call it hika, and it was a divine power. Magic wasn't superstition for them. They used to think that it's some kind of very powerful, very legitimate force, which was created by God, but even used by God themselves. It's even stranger because gods, they when they are going to do something, they are going to perform something, they also will have to say these words. So this was something which was used by gods as well. So there were spells and rituals. They will have incantations, they will have amulets, they will have small figurines as well to like, statues are big, so to put it in their home, they will have figurines. So they can, by that, they can compel or invoke or even bind the supernatural or divine forces to act for them. So it can be a humble petition, like if you doing a ritual command, it can be a humble petition like a prayer. But the attitude towards the gods was like a supplication or asking for help. So it can be either control or a manipulation through magic, or it can be a humble prayer as well. So, but mostly Egyptian will use magic. So it was widely used in temples and in daily life for healing, protection, and putting curses as well. So if they are angry with somebody, they will put curse on that person. So what priests used to do at that point, some things which are too big for normal people to do, so they would come to the magicians and ask them to do stuff for them. So we can see that in the history, when powers of pharaohs was declined, people were more empowered and they were using magic, which was mostly like personal magic. So they had direct contact with the god, and they could manipulate the divine forces by them. Not, they didn't need anybody. So this is you can even in throughout history you can see that especially in New Kingdom, which was circa 1550 to 1550 BC, there's so many spells, prayers, hymns, and even instructions which are put in the tombs, that like inscribed in the tombs walls. And this is what they say, that it will help the dead person to navigate in the afterlife, and it will help them. And there are so many papyrus scrolls which being found that it says these things on it. So the most strangest thing is Book of Dead, and it has Osirian, that god Osiris, who died and then he became alive. His incantations to lead them in afterlife. And there is called Book of Dead, and there are so many you can say inscriptions in there which provide mythical justification for the rituals, after death rituals. So when this thing really struck me about compelling the gods through words, it somehow it makes me feel like sometimes we Muslims, we are also doing that. When we do wazaif without understanding the meaning of those words, we say, okay, if you read this surah or this ayat like 50 times or 100 times, your work will be done, you will get what you want, you will be successful. Or somebody sick, their sickness will be they will be healed and would be gone, sickness would be gone. So somehow it really struck me that the way they used to do incantation, we should be very careful using Quranic verses when we are like somehow feel like acting the same way. So about this family, it's like this is Osiris, his son Horus, and his wife Isis. These people, they are, it's like a family, and this is called Osirian triad. This triad is, sorry, I think somebody raised hand.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
About you just said that they were doing some, you know, you related to the doing some wazifa type things or reciting the surah for some multiple times. So you're relating with that. But this is also some of them also uh, testify from the Akasaka Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that if you do the Surah Fatiha, it will cure that the sick people, and if you do the Surah, Atul Kursi, it will give you hifazat. So isn't it little bit contradictory to
No, that's
say?
totally different thing. I said if we don't understand the words, what we are saying, if we don't understand the meaning and actual why the surah was revealed to our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if we don't know the background of that and we are just reading it, because I've heard so many people doing that thing that if you say like pig's name, then your tongue would be unclean for
Yeah,
40 days and stuff. And this is the same surah they would be reading. Allah used the word of Hinzir in Quran and then said that
yeah.
this is haram. They would be reading the same surah to heal their sick people. Like they don't even know the meaning of that. They don't even know that's about ahkam, and they are doing dumb and everything. That this is
Yeah,
what
I do. No, that's okay. But the thing is, the dam and the other thing, rukiya type things, it is also uh, uh proof from by Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi
that's
Wasallam. Like it is
definitely,
said.
yeah.
So most of the people in Pakistan, even here, we don't know the meaning of the Quran Pak. Most of the people, like me, I just know the few surahs which I know that by tarjuma. But I think it's really hard that you're relating. That's my point of view. That you're relating this to those people. I know that people use these ayats or surahs or some verses just to do. If you do it multiple times, then your problem will be solved. And so that's a bit confusing for me.
No,
That's I
I'm
just
just
want to.
saying that, yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that faith should come after understanding. If you have the understanding and then you're reading them, totally fine. We should. I also do it. But I'm saying those people who they don't even understand what these words are about and they are reading it. That's the thing I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that you're raising the awareness that
Yeah.
people should. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, Osiris he's the god of the dead and resurrection and afterlife. And he's the husband of Isis. And Isis is the goddess of magic, motherhood, and healing. And Horus, the falcon hybrid, falcon and human hybrid. He's the god of kingship and sky. And he is often linked with the living pharaohs. He's their son, both of them. So the story behind how he became Osiris, how he became king of dead or god of dead, his brother Seth, he was really jealous of him. So because Osiris was loved by all the gods, and he called everybody to the banquet, and he said that, okay, and he prepared a really big golden coffin, kind of not like a coffin, it was a box, but it was really long like a coffin, and it was very beautiful, and everybody started thinking that who this might be for. And he said, whoever lays inside and fits in, that person gonna take this home. So everybody tried, but he made it specially for Osiris, according to his height and his physique and everything. And when he lay down, he shut the box, and then he threw it in River Nile. Then his wife somehow found it, and then Seth again found him and killed him and cut him in 14 different pieces and threw it throughout the Egypt, wherever, like all around the Egypt. Then his wife, Isis, she found him again, and with the help of other gods, he was resurrected. Osiris was resurrected, and then they kept on. His whole body was mummified with the. He was bound like a mummy. Only his arms were free, and he was. After that, he went underworld, and he started ruling underworld. And this is the Trinity of Father, Mother, and Son. And the same Trinity, I'm going to discuss it later on, but before, I would just say that I would talk about Isis again. She is considered Divine Mother and healer and protector. She's an intercessor between human and all the gods. She is linked with resurrection myths, and she is associated with compassion and mercy. Now, later on, if we read the book written by Sabrina Higgins, she has written a book, Divine Mothers. She has showed the comparison. She has shown the comparison between Mother Mary, Maryam alayhi salam, and Isis, and she has compared their attributes and everything, and it shows that later on. Christians, they adopted Isis, so many Isis attributes, and somehow they linked it with Mother Mary. There are so many statues of Virgin Mary and Isis, which are like, you can say it was reused artistically. They when Christians, what they did, they remove like Isis, you can say physical attributes, and put it Virgin Mary's attributes on it, and they reused it as you can say their own statues in their churches and stuff. So you can see that it was almost like 4th or 7th century CE that they use motif of divine mother and child, like Isis and Horus, when Horus was a baby, and they influenced, they looked so influenced, like Christians, they put Mary and Jesus, same baby Jesus and Mother Mary, there you can say the whole motif of that. And then it's really strange because so many things they took it from here, and that's also a trinity, that triad of Father, Son, and Mother, and then they did Father, Mother, Holy Ghost, and stuff like that. So you can say that Isis statues were reinterpreted as icon of Mary in early Coptic churches. So they used image of Isis, like in many times, and they did the same thing. Titles and roles were similar, like compassionate mother, divine mother, protector, and Jesus, intercessor. And it's strange, it's really strange, because some archaeologists, they even found these statues of Isis in Britain, and I think it's Londanium at that time they used to call him. In London they found it, and that's why the Roman and early Christian era, they will see this religious transition. So it's very important to understand this triad of Trinity of Isis and Osiris and Horus. And they were mostly worshipped in Middle Kingdom, and then later on, even in the 18th and 20th dynasty, when New Kingdom started, and that was Kingdom of Pharaoh, New Kingdom, and The Book of Dead was flourishing at that time. Then Abydos festivals, that's in Egypt. They made temples, and you can see so many resemblance in Christianity and Trinity of Christianity and Osirian Triad. So when the Hyksos time came, it was 15th dynasty, 1650 to 1550 BC. So at that time, Hyksos came to Egypt. So that's the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. So the term Hyksos, it's derived from Egyptian phrase Hikau Kasut, meaning rulers of foreign land. And they were Levantine immigrants. They were Semitic. So, and to understand, I think I should show a map. Okay, the Levant, where these Hyksos people, they came from. They came from Levant, which is the area of this is Palestine, Lebanon, and Syria. That was all three of them was included in Levant, and these people, Hyksos, they came from Levant. And this is the artifact, like you can say it's Asiatic soldier of Hyksos. It's like they had mushroom hairstyle. So they came from Levant, and they ruled the Lower and Middle Egypt. So if we see when in Quran, historical accuracy of Quran is so perfect. When Quran called those people, when talking about Yusuf alayhi salam's time and the king of Yusuf alayhi salam, Quran called him Malik in it's Surah Yusuf, verse number 43, when Allah is calling him king. But when Allah is talking about Pharaoh Moses, Surah Al-Araf, ayat number 103, Allah is calling him Pharaoh. Because these people at that time, this these kings were called king. They Pharaoh, the dynasty of Pharaoh didn't start at that time. So they used to call king. So these Hyksos king, this terminological distinction is very aligned with history as well. So during the Hyksos rule, they were called king, and that was called during the but after that, during the New Kingdom in 18th dynasty, circa 1539 BCE, then they started using the name of Pharaoh. So Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam came in this time because at that time Hyksos, like, they were foreign kings. So the way they came, it used to say like that they came and conquered the Egypt, but they didn't. And now the new researchers, they show that they came like very peacefully, and mostly migrants. Because if they say those immigrants were mostly traders or mercenaries, and they came from Levant, and most of them were women. So the evidence, it comes from Brooklyn Papyrus. So this papyrus clearly showed that from 13th dynasty, it provides a proof of Asiatic slaves, indicating a Semitic presence before the Hyksos era. This suggests that Yusuf alayhi salam may have arrived before or during early Hyksos rule. And because if we see in the papyrus, the slave names are Semitic, showing that early Canaanite immigration happened into Egypt. So if the Brooklyn papyrus is really important here. because it gives most of the information about that time. And why it's called Brooklyn Papyrus? Because it's in the Museum of Brooklyn, and the papyrus is a plant. You can say they used to ancient Egyptians, they used to use papyrus plant, and they used to press it together and then dry it in the form of papyrus sheets, and you can say that was the paper of that time. So it was because papyrus was very abundant in Nile Delta, so they used to do all that process to make papers out of it. So if we see the how these people came, and then in papyrus it says the names like Yaqubel and the tribe of Asher, and all these inscriptions under Seti I and Ramesses II. It shows that presence of Hebrew tribes were there during even in 19th dynasty as well. So how now they say that most of the evidence through archaeology, so many excavations were done in 1966 by a man called Manfred Betek and his team. They did excavation in ancient city of Avaris, which was the capital of Ixos, and in now modern day Tel El Daba. They found out through strontium isotope analysis that mostly people living there were not Egyptian. They came from, they were immigrants. So strontium is a chemical element. It's found in rocks, soil, water, and living things. So what strontium isotope work is like a natural location barcodes. It can tell that what person used to live here, where they grew up, where they came from. So they leave chemical signatures in teeth, bones, and you can even say the rocks that tell us where something came from or how old it is. So they check the teeth and bones, and it reflects the geological signature of the region where a person grew up. This also allows archaeologists to identify migrants and locals in ancient burial sites. So findings of Tel El Daba, researchers, they analyze teeth and bone which record childhood location. The dental enamel on teeth, it forms in early childhood and remains unchanged throughout the adulthood. And also in bones, it reflects that where a person lived later on in their life. They compared the isotope ratios to the local Egyptian baselines, and it turned out that all these people, they were immigrants, and they peacefully migrated through marriage or social integration. So Hyksos, they had a really strong, you can say, they left a really strong influence on Egypt, which lost very long time. So the way they used to use military and technological advances, they left it like horse-drawn chariots. They left the influence on that. Then they used to use a different type of bows. Their swords were sickle swords, like they are from the tip, they are like turned like a little bit, you can say, bent. So their military transformative, and the way they used to do their warfare, their techniques, they left a really great mark on Egyptians. So they also introduced new religious ideas, particularly the worship of Baal, which was merged with Egyptian deities, and it enhanced a cultural blending between Egypt and Levant. So if we see that, again, we'll have to go to maps to understand where they used to where they used to rule. So they used to rule Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt on map is up. It's the northern part of the Nile, primarily the Nile Delta region. So this is Levant, Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon. They came from here, and then they ruled this area. This area was Avaris, their capital city. Then there was Zagazig and Tanis, and Avaris was Hyksos capital. So, but if we see the Upper Egypt is here. This the city of Thebes, where later on those Thebes princes they're gonna attack Lower Egypt, and they're gonna take the whole Egypt back. Then Abydos, this is also Upper Egypt, Edfu, Elephantine, and all of these areas. So why this area is called Upper Egypt and this area is called Lower Egypt? Because Egyptian, they used to go by the flow of Nile. This was the hilly area, a mountain area. From here, the river Nile used to flow down here, and that's why this was the Upper Egypt and this was the Lower Egypt. Egyptian, they didn't go by compass, they go by Nile flow. So this is how Nile flow is. And later on, Theban prince, they're gonna attack Avaris, the capital city of Hyksos, and they will take back Avaris from them, and it's gonna be Egyptian part, and then they will send them back to Levant. Okay, so their religious belief was that they used to believe in Baal. This is the Baal with bull and human hybrid, and he was the god of storm and thunder, and he was like really
Sorry,
you can say.
Sister Misbah, your slides are not visible, only the map.
Oh. Should I go back? Okay.
Yes, it's visible
Yeah,
now.
visible, yeah. So that's the hybrid of bull and human, and he was very violent and you can say very strong. And why Hyksos? The concept of Baal as a god, and because Seth in Egyptian, this is Seth. He's also very strong, and he's combination of his hybrid with that animal is really strange because it's unknown bird or whatever it is. But that's the hybrid of animal, bird, and human. And they used to believe in him, and he was also very strong, and he was the you can say god of storm and thunder, and all if his attributes and Baal's attributes were the same. And it left a really strong mark on Egyptian, because if you remember, the golden calf incident happened in the time of Musa alayhi salam. How this, because that's going to be another goddess. Her name is Hathor, and she is also a half human and hybrid of a cow and a woman. So the concept of cow or bull, it's very old. There's another Apis bull, and his image is also like you can say that you can see all of these images of bull or cow in the incident of golden calf. So then how the downfall of Hyksos start. So Hyksos, at that time, when Yusuf al-Islam time was gone, then another time started. That was the political situation of that time was like, you can say for Hyksos, it was very weak. And at that time, Lower Egypt was totally safe. Upper Egypt was totally safe from a foreign influence. And at that time, the the Theban prince, they started thinking that they should do one thing, that they should take their whole Egypt back to themselves. There was one warrior whose name was Ahmos I. Before him, there was Khamos as well. He attacked Lower Egypt, and he started taking, he started pushing them back. Hyksos. He started pushing the Hyksos back, and he planned that he will have Egypt all to Egyptian. And then after that, Ahmos was one of those warriors. He also worked really hard, and then he expelled all of those Hyksos people back to where they came from, to Levant. And he was one of those Egyptians who tried their best to revive the new kingdom, revive the identity of Egyptian. They didn't want any foreign rulers. So it was a very, you can say, it was the time of liberation of Egypt, and they decided to take all the control back, and they didn't want any foreigners at that time in their country. And that time, after that, it became really difficult for Israelites as well, because Israelites, they used to side with the Hyksos all the time, because Israelites, they were also Semitic people. Hyksos were also Semitic people. They knew the time of Yusuf salam, and they used to give respect to Israelites. But when that time was gone, and after some time, and people start forgetting their people start forgetting about past, and new time is coming, so they didn't really care about what Yusuf al-Islam had done for the Egypt. So new rulers, they wanted to revive everything about Egypt, according to their traditions. King is the godhead, so he revived Ahmos one. He revived the divine ruler concept as well, and he made sure that everybody is following this rule. And later on, it became really difficult for Israelites to I don't really see in history where they really pinpoint like this is the time when Israelites stopped having their faith. But there was already, you can say, there were so many weaknesses in them, and when this time came, there's so many changes came with that. So we'll discuss this one by one. But at that time, what he did, he brought back the Ra and Amun. Those were the two gods that he wanted to bring back to Egypt, and he wanted everybody to worship. So Ra is the sun god, and he's like, you can say, I think I've already talked about it. Yeah. Amun is the creator, the hidden creator, and Ra is the ancient sun god. So together, they were like, in some places they were worshipping Ra, and some was Amun. So mostly was Ra, because all the pharaohs say that we are son of the Ra, the son of God. So originally, Amun was the local god of Thebes. He was associated with the air, mystery, and invisibility, and his name also means hidden or concealed. So his true nature is unknown, but Ra is like really famous, and he traveled across the sky in a solar bark by day, and through the night he would go in the underworld. And his you can say spirit animal was a falcon, and Amun spirit animal is a ram, a giant ram. So later on, after some time, like after some dynasty, these two gods would be fused together, and they will become Amun-Ra. So the union of Amun's hidden creative power and Ra's visible solar force, they will become one god. And they would be seen as a king of the gods in the coming dynasties. They were the ultimate source of life and the ruler of heaven and earth. So this worship presented a shift towards universalism and monotheistic tendencies. So especially in the time of when the Theban prince and their power was really dominant on Egypt. So how in 19th dynasty, what kind of changes were, because 19th dynasty is one of the most important dynasty, because that was the Ramesside line, or Ramesside dynasty was formed at that time. Ramesses I, then his son Seti I, and then his son Ramesses II. Pardon? So this dynasty, 19th dynasty, which is circa 1292 to 1189 BCE, this is very important. So if we see Ramesses I, his time was 1292 to 1290 BCE. His time is like short reign. It lost almost 17 to 24 months, but it left a lasting foundation for Egypt. And you can say that this person, Ramesses I, he wasn't a royal, he wasn't a military person or from a military family. He wasn't even from the anywhere closer to the royal family. So he rose from the non-royal military family in the Delta, and he became a vizier and co-regent under Horemheb. So a co-regent is somehow like a joint ruler who rules on the behalf of a monarch who is unable to rule. So he was appointed by Horemheb, and Horemheb, he made sure that this transition is like really smooth, like very without any problem, or without creating any chaos. He would just hand it over to Ramesses I. So the reason for Horemheb, he was like childless. He didn't have any children. He was very old in the age, and Ramesses I had already proved that he is very loyal, and he had proven his capability to Horemheb. So he very smoothly like hand over the rulership to him, to Ramesses I. You can see here, the minute he became a co-regent, what he did, he revived the ruler of the divine ruler tradition, that king is the godhead. So you can see he came from a very normal family, and he didn't have anything, any royal blood or anything, but still, the minute he became a king, this is what he did. He strengthened Egypt's presence in Nubia. He sent troops at Buhan, and possibly he also led an expedition into Western Asia. Buhan was, you can say, it was very important area at that time. And if there was a trade hub in Lower Nubia near the second cataract of the Nile. He built in the 12th dynasty, what he did, he built, there was a Senusret III, he built something called a fortress or and trade hub in Lower Nubia. And then Ramesses I, what he did, he controlled the Nubian gold. We see
Your screen is blank.
yeah. Yeah, this is the Nubia, and this is Wadi Halfa. It was it was Sudan which was controlling this this area. It was under Sudan, and there was a gold and timber routes gold and timber was really expensive even at that time, and this route was like you can say was a trade hub, and it used to control all the gold from this area. And so what Ramesses did, he made up he somehow kind of controlled these routes and made a border control over here, so nothing goes without his permission, and he took hold of it. And then you can say that it's in Sudan now, in modern era. This area is under Sudan now. You can say northern Sudan. And in 20th century, archaeologists they excavated this area and they came to know about it. And then okay, so and what he did, he did many expeditions to control so many places under to control, and he built few things and he restored as well. He decorated and completed significant section of Karnak, and that was really important area. And then later on, it became a temple as well. And there was temple at Abydos. He also built it, so which was later finished by his son Seti I. And then he reopened the most important thing, that he reopened the Sinai turquoise mines. These turquoise mines were at the place of Wadi Magara. And the special thing about it is that he also revived the goddess Hathor. She was the goddess of turquoise and protector of miners. So this turquoise in Wadi Mugira and Sarbat al-Khadam, there was, you can say there was
Slides.
cycle of...
Your
Pardon?
slides are not visible. Your
Oh.
map.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. So he restored the Sinai turquoise expeditions, and there have been cycles of activity and abandonment throughout Egypt's history of this Sinai turquoise mine, because first of all, it was this expedition was dangerous and they needed lots of government support. And second thing, the minute this Sinai expedition, it finished, the goddess Hathor, which was half human and half cow, the hybrid of cow and woman, so it also stopped. So she was the miners' protector, and they used to pray to her for their protection, and her sacred animal was cow. So she's most commonly showing like a woman with the horns and cow ears, and human hybrid, cow and human hybrid. And she's always holding a sistrum. It's like a musical instrument. So she's the protector of foreign lands and expeditions and miners. Especially, she's called Lady Turquoise, Lady of Turquoise. So she's also, you can remember Baal, the that bull hybrid human deity, and then Hathor. She's also cow and human hybrid. But later on, Isis, which I talked about before, she evolved to be Hathor, and she fused Hathor in her, and then she was the one goddess that people were praying to. And Hathor, her image was, you can say, it fused into Isis. So you can definitely say the worship of golden calf by Bani Israel was symbolic, reflected by Hathor, Apis bull, Baal, and these three. So you can say the Israelites, they spent so much time in Egyptian with the Egyptian religious traditions, and they were influenced by their Egyptian imagination and their traditions. So which led them to shirk and idolatry. So later on, this temple of Hathor was revived, and they kept on praying her. So his action was part of restoring tradition after the Amarna period. That was the time when was building economic building and different architecture, and then economically they were strengthening Egypt, and the same thing was followed by his son Seti I. So when the mission again in later Amarna period, that mission to Sinai mountain was and turquoise mine was stopped, and in late 18th dynasty they stopped worshipping Hathor. So what Seti I he did, that was the son of Ramesses I, he started taking care of all of these things his father started and he couldn't finish. So he also revived the Sinai turquoise mission, and then he did all the temple restorations at Abydos and Karnak. So he made so many temples and really grand buildings. And all those miners which were not working in the mines because of security and security issues, and there were resources issues as well, they wanted government support, so he restarted it. And with that, you can say he restarted so many other things, including military expeditions. So he led military campaign in Canaan, Syria, and he had fights with Hittites. Hittites were an ancient Indo-European people who came from Turkey. That's the Anatolia, the region of Anatolia is modern-day Turkey. So he undertook major temple restoration at Abydos and Karnak, and even still the temple is called Temple of Seti I now, because during all that time when different, like obviously time was passing, and then so many things were changing. So they started Seti I, he changed so many things as well. He was the also build he restarted construction of Abydos, and it became the one of the holiest site in Egypt, ancient Egypt. So his that construction, one of the constructions were stopped during his time when he died, and then Ramesses II, his son, he started it, and then his religious beliefs were there is another Trinity, that also that's a family of father, son, and mother. In his time, he used to believe in Ptah. He was the god of he was one of the central deities. This is called the Memphite triad, because these three they were worshipped in Memphis. So that was the 19th dynasty. So at that time, his worship was at the peak, and because he was called the creator god, he was the architect of a universe, and patron of artisan and builders and sculptures. So this is really important in Egypt, because they used to build pyramids and grand statues and stuff. So, and then they also say that he created the world through thought and speech, and this whole world it became into being. And he's also called Ptah the Great, and he was like you can say he was the state god, because local gods were there, but he was the main state god. And pharaohs like Seti I, and even after his time, Ramesses II, he also supported Temple of Ptah in Memphis. And Pharaoh Ramesses II, he used to call himself the son of Ptah, and he used to say that I'm favorite of Ptah. And he's the his wife, his wife, her name was Sekhmet, and she is the lioness and human hybrid. And their son Nefertum, he is associated with the lotus and rebirth, and he is holding a scepter, which you can see there's a lotus flower on it. And you can see in Ptah's hand, he's holding a scepter, which has Ankh, the key of life. And this scepter was considered very powerful because he can create and he can destroy. And this is the whole strength and in his hand. So you will see all of them holding a scepter, all mostly gods. Even if you see in hieroglyphs, mostly gods, they are holding a scepter. It was very important for them. So the ancient city of Memphis, they said universe began not with violence, but the thought and speech. That was the thought and speech of Ptah. And he created word by not by action, but by thinking in his heart and speaking it with his tongue. So they used to say that he gave life to the gods through his heart and tongue. This is the Memphite theology. So it's inscribed on different stones. I think that's called the Shabaka stone. And that Sekhmet, his wife, she's the lioness head goddess, and she is the embodiment of rage and fire and divine justice. And she was very wrathful until their son Nefertum, the lotus-born son, when he was born, he calmed his mother's rage somehow, and she became like a much calm person or goddess. So you can say this the Memphis triad, the Memphite triad, they were the main god, and they were like really respected and worshipped around Memphis area, and mostly you can say Karnak temple as well. And there's another temple, Luxor temple. And then the time of Ramesses II, the pharaoh, circa 1279 to 1213 BCE, he reigned over Egypt almost like 66 years. So he commanded so many battles, like Battle of Kadesh, circa 1274 BCE versus the Hittites. Later, they also signed the earliest known peace treaty by Hittites and pharaohs, Egyptians. And he even he built so many grand buildings and his own statues, and he commissioned vast statutory inscription promoting his legacy. He even built so many, you can say, statues in his own honor. And then he was the one who started the biggest chariot war of history. That was he battled against Hittites. That's called Battle of Kadesh. And his fight was with the Hittites king, whose name was Muwatalli, and near the city of Kadesh. In present day, this place is Syria. So he was like he reasserted Egyptian control over former territories in Syria and Canaan. And the Hittites, they were very powerful empire from Anatolia, which is modern day Turkey. So they were expanding southward and had taken control of Kadesh, which was strategically a very vital city. So Hittites, they used to speak Hittite language, and when they came, they were, you can say, the earliest attested Indo-European language. They rose in circa 1700 BC with major power by 1600, 1200 BCE. So during that time, there was a really big fight going on. And then after that, they signed the first known peace treaty as well. But before that, fight was really like it was going really fiercely, and Ramesses was they captured two Hittite spies, and Ramesses was misled by these two, who falsely claimed that Muwatalli, his army was far away from this area, but in reality they were almost like behind Kadesh and ready for ambush. So he was betrayed by them, but there was a surprise attack. And after that attack, Ramesses was totally vulnerable position, in a very vulnerable position. And he what he did, but he himself at that time did a fight. So for Egypt, he was really good, you can say, king. But there are so many bad things about him, and we know the biggest one. So what he did at that time, when they signed the peace treaty, because there was, after that battle, technically there was no clear winner. The battle was inconclusive. So what he did, in a very Pharaonic style, he claimed that I am the winner, and he had a monumental reliefs and inscriptions glorifying his heroism. He exaggerated it like in a typical Pharaonic style and made himself a hero of Egypt. And you can say it was wrong, because Hittites, they retained the control of Kadesh. It wasn't his victory, but he even built really big statues. So he somehow betrayed everybody. And if we see, this is somehow he somehow like convinced people, because even in so many, if you read history, they would call him Ramesses the Great. So somehow he made everybody believe what he wanted them to believe. So this peace treaty was written by both Egyptian hieroglyphs and Akkadian cuneiforms. That was the you cannot call it a language. It's not a language, it's a script. So both sides, they stored the details of this war and whatever happened. So in both sides, it is really, you can say, safe. So this god Amun-Ra, which Pharaoh worshipped, so he promoted him. He was the god of, he was the fusion of Amun and Ra. So he was worshipped all throughout all the New Kingdom, and he was the one who is the hidden one, and he is the one who has sun power as well. So he was the main called as the creator of universe, or king of all the gods. So in Senusret, Middle Kingdom, 12th dynasty, he also believed in him. So he was a state god, Amun-Ra. And then Ahmose, he also called him, proclaimed him the main god. And then Hatshepsut, 18th dynasty, he even claimed that he took the divine birth from Amun-Ra. And so he built magnificent temples for him, even in Karnak. And then Thutmose, the 18th dynasty, he also believed in Amun-Ra. So because of Amun-Ra, wealth and priesthood grew rapidly during his rulership. So Amenhotep the third, 18th dynasty, he also believed in Amun-Ra. And the power of Amun's priesthood rivaled the king's own at that time. So he was that powerful that priest became even more powerful than Pharaoh. Then Ramesses II in the 19th dynasty, he was one of the strongest supporter of Amun-Ra, and he built expanded temples in his name and called himself beloved of Amun-Ra. So you can see here why he said that he is the god or a ruler of all the universe. And but here one confusion gonna come to your mind, because it came to my mind, and I just thinking maybe it came to your brain as well. All of a sudden you think that this thing happened when, say, your God, my God can rise sun from the east. Can you, what's the, what you call it, the dialogue of, can you do it and rise the sun from the west? And that was Namrud. That was the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam said it. And the Pharaoh, they claim to hold, control the cosmology and everything. So it's really important to check this as well. But after that, I think it's too much time and we should take a break, or maybe we will do it next time. What you
Yeah,
say we should? Yeah.
yeah, I think yes. How much is left?
Pardon?
How much it's left?
It's, I have few, like I want to do the comparison of Nimrud and Pharaoh, and then Asaf, Musa alayhi salam, and that scepter all these gods hold, because this god is also holding a scepter and key of life in his hand.
Okay, we can do next time.
Yeah, please.
I think we can take some questions if
Yeah.
there are.
So you want to finish it now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should take some questions now.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? Well, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
You spoke about the gods which Pharaoh used to worship. So did he not say that I am your God, the Almighty, to the Israelites and to his people who he divided into sects? So isn't it
Pharaoh.
contradictory to he said that I am your God, and he also used to worship some god? So what is the solution to this?
Pharaohs, all of them used to call themselves son of Ra. And at that time, when Pharaoh said that he believed in Ra, Amun Ra, or they were like, they used to consider one God. And he used to say, I'm his son, so he is not here, but on the earth I am your God. And they used to believe in Godhead, that consider me a God rather than consider anybody else a God. So I'm going to discuss it later on, because they used to say that I am the upholder of Maat. Maat is the goddess and daughter of Ra. So he used to say that I am the upholder of Maat. Maat is also a cosmic order. So they used to consider her a goddess and the cosmic order. And Pharaoh used to be the linchpin of the whole cosmic order. And they used to say that we gods have given all of their control, or all of their rulership in Pharaoh's hand, and this is Pharaoh's responsibility to control all of that. So I'm going to discuss next time about Maat and Isfat, because Maat is the cosmic order and Isfat is the opposite of it, evil, which is trying to kill Ra, the sun god, every night. And when sun god appears every next day, is the victory of Maat. And victory of Maat is the victory of Pharaoh.
Okay, okay. So which concludes that for the people, Pharaoh was the god, and
Yeah.
for Pharaoh there was some other god, which he claimed to be the son of.
Yeah, that's strange, because they say that they are complete in themselves as a god, and then gods, they also need hika to do whatever they want to do, to bring things into creation. They also need hika, and then hika is also a god. So in every dynasty, they say they change the myth.
Yeah, and everything that's so contradictory to each other.
Yeah, it is. And but these things stayed the same, the scepter and the ankh, the key of life. They all has to, it's like it has to be there. Everybody, they have to hold this scepter and the key of life. So mostly they have, or you can say that cobra on their crown, or falcon there, because they believe that what you call it, Horus, he's the main god's son. So, and he is the rulership. He's the god of rulership and kingship. So they all will have the cobra and falcon on their thrones as well, on their crowns. Sorry.
All right. Jazakallah khair.
Exactly.
Does anyone has any questions? And no one has any question. Jazakallah khair, Mr. That was an amazing presentation, amazing research work, and we'll continue, inshallah, session next week, and we will just dive deep into the Seerah. We are very excited to go to Seerah of Musa alayhi salam. And so that's it for today. So we'll just wind up. Do you want to say anything else, Mr. Misbah?
No, just because next one would be even more informative, because I'm going to conclude all the psychology behind creating human and animal hybrid of gods, and why they want to believe in these things, which looks or even sounds so
That would be very
stupid.
interesting. That would be
Pardon?
very interesting. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, inshallah. So just wanted to, and about staff of Musa alayhi salam and the scepter, the comparison and the resemblance or whatever. What was the reason that Musa alayhi salam also was holding something like which looked like a scepter, but it wasn't, and that was the one which had the real power. They were holding it like symbolically, but the real power Allah gave him, that was in the asa. So that would be really interesting, and then a little bit of more. You can say discussion about a ball, a ball, and Api and the Hathur, all the bull and cow hybrid gods. So, and especially about the Maat and Isfat, yeah. And in the end, it's gonna be the dialogue of Musa alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam with Nimrud and Pharaoh. So there are gonna be similarities between. I'm gonna compare Nimrud and Pharaoh, because I saw so many similarities between these two. So that
All
will
right, all right.
be.
So we will be waiting anxiously for the next session. Inshallah, Jazakallah khair. And so that's it for today. So nobody has any questions. So we'll just wind up. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum assalam.